Hello, Professor Boardway here. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what I call my four-stepper. I came up with this about 5, 6 years ago, and it has to do with when certain effects occur throughout any phase of the project, whether it's way at the beginning or way, during construction. Um, so it's a little what I call a four-stepper, and basically it has to do with tracking an effect or a so-called revision on a project. And so, and I can give you some examples as well. It's halfway through construction document phase, the owner calls the architect up and says, "Listen, I need to take out 3,000 square feet, okay, on the project." And so some of the questions kind of are going around in our mind about this time, because you might be 50% into construction documents, and here comes the request, and so it's something that we have to take a look at. So each phase of the project dictates the procedure to follow, right? I mean, depending on who's affected and are agencies involved yet? Is there a construction manager, general contractor? Are we in a construction? Each phase dictates a procedure. But for example, if we're into construction documents, okay, we haven't submitted to the agency yet, and so it's a matter of a little four questions that go on in my mind. I call it the four-stepper. The first step would be to verify the validity. All right, so how valid is this request? Now, I'm not challenging the authority or the power of the client, but what I'm doing is understanding the why behind it. It's very important to understand the why behind anything that happens, because it allows you to be more accurate in responding to it. Okay, as they say, half the answer is in the question and the why, understanding. So it's a matter of, okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Client, you sit down and say, okay, then why do you want to take out 3,000 square feet? So we're understanding the why behind it. They might have a very valid reason, or they might have a pretty weak reason, and then you could justify why they shouldn't do it, and then they'll agree with you and you move on. So you have to discuss the validity of it. Verify the validity, step one. Okay. And if it is valid, then we go on to step two, and it's called research the impact. Research the impact in regards to cost, time, agency issues, codes, the cost implications of your consultants, because they're halfway in the construction documents as well, all right, in this particular phase. And so we are researching the impact, documenting that, and then collecting all that information and research. And then step three would be to present back to the client or the party that's asking for the revision, normally the owner. And then here's how much time it's going to take. It's going to take another 2 months of time. It's going to be another $8,000 or whatever it happens to be. And you present it to the client in rough written form, okay? And if the client goes for it, then they just need to, and here comes step four, approve it or disapprove it, okay? And so there's two lines there, one for disapproval, one for approval, and so it just depends what they want to do. Okay, so if they approve it, then we move on with that procedure in modifying the necessary documents affected by this revision. If they disapprove it, then we basically put it aside and continue on with the project. Now, I recommend that you don't spend a lot of time on this four-stepper, because most likely you're not going to be billing for the time. So it's like, a contractor can't really bill for the bidding time that they spent in putting a bid together for the most part. So it's the same type of thing. All right. So in the early stages of the project, pre-design site analysis, schematics, DDs, construction documents, we can use this procedure. Of course, in the bidding stage, then we'll go into what is called addendum or addenda, reflecting and tracking and updating all the bidders on the project as well, making sure they're aware of this particular revision. And then, of course, we have to, modify the contract, reflecting additional services as well, amend it, and go from there. If it's in the construction phase, then we've got, you always have two different things going on: the cost and time, the cost and/or time affected on the project during construction, and then the other is your time as the architect and the consultants and so on as well. how are you reflecting that additional service, okay? So that's something you always have to keep in mind, is that when a client asks during the construction phase about a revision, okay, then we can research that, okay, in regards to how it's going to impact cost and time for the project, cost and or time, could be time only, no cost, even though time is money, but, and then the other issue is how is the architect going to be compensated for the additional documents and services that need to be rendered to track this revision, to allow it, to occur. We might have to, go through and take it out in the, submit it to the agency and then take it out to the job site. But we'll have to make sure that all of those procedures, these sequential acts of architecture, are taken care of. Okay, as we go through the format of tracking that particular revision. All right. So that's my little four-stepper. You might want to think about using it if you need to in the future about any effects to a project. Verify the validity, research the impact, present back to whoever's asking for it, and receive approval, disapproval, and then move on accordingly. Okay? So just a little quick four-stepper. All right, take care. Bye-bye.